I never thought that in high school I would be actually doing all this lab work. I actually thought, oh, it's high school, it's just going to be a simple little 4 years and then I'm off to college. I didn't think I'd actually be working in the lab until actually I graduated.
So a lot of the techniques that these kids are doing are the same techniques they even saw being done in research labs.
Well, I love science. I always had an interest for it, and it was a great opportunity when I found out, so I just came here and I loved it.
The Bioscience Academy is an experience for students to really explore new avenues of science that they hadn't thought about before.
It's a program where they give you a chance to use materials you really don't use. At high school, they teach you different stuff, and then it's really cool because you have to work with a lot of scientific stuff, and you feel really smart.
When you start off, you're diagnosing diabetes and learning about it basically, and your later years when you come back, you'll be diagnosing cancer, studying a specific cancer.
Our main focus was around how we use DNA technologies to diagnose diseases like diabetes, and also how we use genetic engineering and growing things in cells to make treatments for disease. Those students have been studying that. They've isolated some of their own DNA and done some basic DNA testing on it, and they've also genetically engineered some cells. Our other group of students has been working on studying cancers, and they all came in and they chose a cancer that they were interested in, and then they looked at human genes that are implicated in those cancers. So many cancers have many different genes that affect them. And so from that list of human genes, they made comparisons with a little worm that you're going to see upstairs called C. elegans. It's a tiny little microscopic worm. And they looked for genes in the worm that matched the human genes. And then they chose one of those worm genes to study. And this summer they've isolated that gene and purified it. And they're working now on a little technique to block the expression of that gene in the worm. So basically to turn the gene off in the worm to see what happens to the worm when you block that gene.
My favorite part was actually doing all the extracting of DNA from all the worms. If someone wants to join the Bioscience Academy next year, I would have to show them that it's going to be a really once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that you could really get into if you're really into bioscience.
Great preparation for the future, and if you really love science, it's a great way to choose your health science path and field.
Well, it has to do with science, and if you love science, it's a great opportunity. And it's not only about science, it's about the technology.
You get to use your own DNA and learn more about yourself and get leadership skills, and if you want to do something in the science field, this is a place.
Maybe a lot of work of getting up and getting ready to come here, but once you're here and you get to see how a lab actually looks and how everything works, you're going to actually start having a lot of fun.